Welcome to Tanakh Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live from Kingsland, Texas, USA, with another episode of TNT, Totally Not True, by our awesome Houston Rabbi, the man, Stuart Federow, Judaism and Christianity, A Contrast. Awesome book. You need to buy it if you don't have it already. It is really your own mistake. So here we go. All right, here we go. Oh, I forgot to drag the... Welcome back, Rabbi. How are you? Right now you look like a bunch of text on my screen.
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. Hang on, let me put this on the right screen. I don't know why it switched. So many things are switching on their own these days. There we go. Super duper. And now let me put this over here on the other side. That way I don't have to make any modifications. Okay, good. So tonight, I don't need to have that on anymore. I can hear you just fine. Welcome everybody. Good to see you, Michael Arlen, Emmeline, Raymond Reef. Good to see you, brother. Haven't seen you in a while. Valerie, Andrea, thank you so much for continuing to moderate our awesome YouTube channel. And so it is a sensitive topic for sure, but people want to know.
Sensitive isn't the word.
Okay. Because
I'm telling you what's going to happen.
So let's just move on.
Fine.
Tell me what's up. I know it's definitely something.
I hate this topic.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody has their own opinion. Nobody's going to change anybody else's opinion.
Okay.
Okay. Half the people are going to hate what I say. Half the people are going to only dislike what I say.
Okay.
Because nobody's going to like what I say.
Okay. Now, what we want to know is not what my opinion or your opinion is, but what is the
Judaism say?
What's
exactly.
the Orthodox view?
And how I present it.
Okay.
I just hope that people will not jump to conclusions and wait till I'm done.
Okay. So we'll call that.
Which they won't, by the way, because this is such a hot topic, and I don't mean hot like popular. I mean like
Understand.
Makes everybody pissed off.
So let us just all come to that agreement. Then there's only 28 of us on right now, but before we have any ideas on where we think Rabbi is going, let's just wait till it's over, get all the pieces put together, one final summary, and then everything will be more clear. So
yeah. No, it'll be more muddled. That's the point.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and roll forward with it.
Great.
Sorry to put that one on you.
Yeah. First of all, let me say the following. Okay. I don't even know where to begin. There are two sides to this in the general community. One of that sides is abortion is always the right thing to do. The other side is abortion is always the wrong thing to do. And Judaism is squarely in the middle. Judaism will not ever say it's always wrong, and Judaism will not ever say it's always right.
Like divorce, kind of the same idea through the divorce topics as well.
Okay, if you say so.
Okay.
My brain can't even.
No, sorry about that. Just stay on track.
I'll around that because
I got you.
Even back in the biblical period, you clearly have explicit statements. You know, it's sad, it's horrible, it's terrible, but when it happens, and you move on. Divorce can happen.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not even going towards divorce. Okay. There's my radio show on Houston shared with a Roman Catholic priest and a Southern Baptist minister. Okay, when we talk about war, the Catholic priest has a line about it, and he says the following, is that it's last resort, but sometimes it's a sad, sad duty. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay. First thing you have to do is you have to look at the Bible. Take a look at Exodus 21, 22, and we're going to wait until it's totally up. Okay, and I don't really care what translation you use.
Okay, then bear with me a minute because I don't have enough screens up yet.
Well, then we're going to wait.
Hold on, I got to figure out how to do this. Hang on. Now, we just go ahead. I mean, everybody's got a desktop computer. Let them pull it up.
All right.
I don't have enough screens right now. I mean, it's a computer screen.
Okay, there's certain.
So
Oh, let me finish what I was starting to say earlier. Okay, about one group says it's always right, one group says it's always wrong. Judaism is in the middle. Okay, the problem with saying it is always right leads to 60 million babies, fetuses, I don't care what you call them, okay, that are not alive. Okay?
Tell me the verse reference again.
60. It's Exodus 21, verse 22 and following.
Okay, I'm working
22
on
and 23.
Exodus 21, verse 22.
Exodus 21, 22 and 23.
Thank you.
Okay. On the other hand, if a person says that it's always wrong, then you wind up with abortion clinics being bombed, potentially murdering abortion doctors. Okay, it's two radical sides, and Judaism cannot be on either side. Okay, so pull up Exodus 21, verse 22 and 23.
Okay, need just another minute, and I'll have it up.
Right. Okay. The basis of thought that it's always wrong comes from taking the life of the baby as more important than the life of the mother. This is something that I've seen repeatedly. Okay. What pushes Roman Catholicism, the direction that it goes, is that the baby's life oversees the mother's life. That's not how Judaism sees it. It's based on Exodus chapter 21, verses 22 and 23. There's a Jewish understanding. There's a Catholic critique of that belief. Then there's a Jewish response to that critique, as you'd expect with everything else.
Okay? I got it. I got it up.
All right. And I really want to wait till I see it. I want to follow it in the text. Okay, fine. All right. Verse 22, this is Exodus chapter 21, verse 22 and following. Should men quarrel and hit a pregnant woman, and she miscarries, but there is no fatality, he shall surely be punished. When the woman's husband makes demands of him, and he shall give restitution according to the judge's orders. But if there is a fatality, you shall give a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, a burn for a burn, a wound for a wound, a bruise for a bruise. And I can't see below that.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize. I'm still making screen edits. I apologize.
Yeah, don't worry about the screen. Okay. And then, okay, that's the end of the verse there, the important part. All right?
Okay.
Now, again, go back to 22.
Okay. It is, by the way, guys, it is storming
By the way,
it's storming really
what
loud.
translation are you looking at?
Rabbi, hang on. Just so you guys know, if we have a flake out, we're having really bad storms, so you'll know why. If we lose connection, that's why. Anyway, go ahead, Rabbi.
Okay, what translation is this? What website?
This is on Chabad.org.
Chabad.
Yes, sir.
Well, I got to tell you something. I really don't like the translation.
Okay.
Okay, but be that as it may, should men quarrel and hit a pregnant woman and she miscarries, but there's no fatality? Notice that in this translation, okay, it said there's a miscarriage, but there's no fatality. That could mean one of two things. A miscarry usually means the baby is expelled and dies. If a person says, I gave birth early, the baby remains alive. If they say, I miscarry, it usually means they lost the baby. So one could understand this based on this translation, that the word fatality could mean either the baby dies or the mother dies. That's not how Judaism has understood it. So when it says a miscarriage, it means the baby dies, and the word fatality is applied to the mother. How do we know that? By the way, keep going with verse 22. He shall surely be punished when the woman's husband makes demands of him, and he shall give restitution according to the judges. In other words, it goes to court. Okay? There's a lawsuit. That's what this means. Then it says in this translation, which I really don't like, but if there is a fatality, you shall give a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, and goes on from there. All right? Now, the word they translate as fatality is the word ason. Second line, third word in, if you want to overscore it.
Okay.
Okay.
What
Ason.
verse? What verse?
It's still the 22nd verse.
Oh, okay.
Second line, third word in.
Oh, not ason?
Ason.
I'm on the wrong something there. You said verse 22?
Chapter 21, verse 22. We're only in 21. That's all we're looking at right now.
Oh, 21. Okay. Sorry. It's really, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's really loud in here and it's hard for me to hear you.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay. Okay, so verse 21.
Chapter 21, verse 22. It's in the middle of the screen.
Okay, gotcha. So,
and I'm talking about the second, third, it's the third word in of the second line in the verse we're talking about. Kaf bet.
Okay. Because right now I'm seeing the third word in on the second on verse 22 is here. On Asim.
Okay. No. That's the third word of the first line of the verse.
So is it in the first? Okay, hold on. First sentence of chapter 20 of verse 22.
Chapter 21, verse 22, which is the same verse you've underlined the word anashim.
Okay.
But I keep saying the second line, third word in.
Second line, third word in.
Thank you.
Gotcha. I wasn't understanding what you were trying to say. I thought it was first sentence, second sentence, third word. Sorry.
Okay, the word is ason.
Okay.
Which means harm, damage, not fatality. Fatality means somebody dies. By stating that the word ason translated as fatality, it's an interpretation, no longer a translation. That's how I look at it.
So you've told us how you look at it. What does Orthodox look at it? How do they look at it?
Every time I have studied this, I'm only looking at Orthodox sources, and that's how they how they understand it.
Fair enough.
Would you mind pulling up if you're on Chabad, you may as well pull up the Rashi.
Okay, sure. How do I get there? I'm not sure. Is it how do I get there from there?
It would be at the top of your thing, and it's a little toggle switch.
Oh, let's see. I see what you mean.
Stay on the page. Don't go anywhere.
Yep.
I don't know why it keeps. Okay, now go all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Right. Now you'll see Rashi's commentary. It says hide. Click on where it says show.
Okay. Remember, I'm 10 seconds ahead of you.
Right.
Okay.
Now I don't know why they can't fix this 10 seconds lag and all this other stuff, but okay.
It's because it just takes that long to do. Okay, so
I know.
So where's it at?
It's like under the word the letters AP of the
it.
word chapter. It says Rashi's commentary. It's blue where it says hide, but on the immediate left, there we go. Thank you. Okay, now go down to verse 22.
This is cool. I never knew they could do that here. Nice.
Okay. Keep going. Should men quarrel with one another and one intended to strike his fellow and instead struck the woman? He had a pregnant woman. Hebrew, whatever, is only an expression of pushing and striking, as in the following phrase, lest you strike your foot with a stone and before your feet are bruised and a stone upon which to dash oneself. But there is no fatality with the woman. So even the Rashi understands fatality with the woman.
Okay, got it.
Okay, which is exactly what I said.
Right, that is what you...
Okay, the Judaism has always understood this to mean that life for life applies to the mother. It's not being used in the paragraph to apply to the baby. He shall surely be punished to pay the value of the fetuses to the husband. If the fetus survives, there's no value. There's no reason for them to pay the value. Again, it's assuming miscarriage means the baby passes away. And the word life for life is not applied to the baby, it's applied only to the mother. And because of this interpretation, Judaism says that, Judaism says that that the mother is considered nefesh, the baby is not. The mother is considered a soul, okay, the baby is not. Okay, would you mind going down a few? I want to see what it.
How far?
Yeah, just slowly go down. Okay, and he shall give restitution. The assailant shall give the value of the fetuses, according to the judges. That's kind of okay. Now keep going. But if there is a fatality, you shall give a life for a life. And Rashi says, but if there is a fatality with the woman.
Nice.
So again, it is showing the interpretation, the Orthodox, rabbinic, Chazal, traditional, whatever you want to call it, understanding is fatality of death means with the woman you should give life for life. Our rabbis differ on this matter. Please note this. Some say that he must actually give up his life, and some say that he must pay money, but not actually a life. And if one intends to kill one person and kills another, he's exempt from the death penalty and must pay the victim's heirs his value. But again and again and again, it's talking about the mother this time. When it says life for life, it is not used in order to refer to the baby.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We don't that we're done. Okay, no, don't move. Stay there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So the Christians will say, okay, the Catholics will say, no, you don't understand this text. Okay, when it talks about a harm, it means if there's no harm with the baby, if the baby's born, okay, the life for life, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise, refers to either the baby or the mother. Here's the problem with that, and here is how we know it's only talking about the mother when it says life for life, hand for hand, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Because it says burn for a burn. Please tell me how a woman is going to have her fetus, her baby, being born over an open fire.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
In other words, a mother will crawl with her fingernails so that she doesn't give birth to her baby who would fall into a fire. What else could this possibly mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And who else could this possibly refer to?
Yeah.
It has to be burn for burn, has to refer to the mother. Okay, we're done with this.
Yep, that's true. That does make sense.
Okay, my point to all this is that Judaism will prefer the mother's life over the baby's life. If push comes to shove, it's the mother's life that counts. And sometimes it becomes a sad duty to abort.
Right.
Okay? Now, William, I really do hate this topic because it's so nuanced. People want to say completely right, completely wrong. And they don't understand that there's an enormous amount of gray in the middle of the black and white.
Right.
All right. Another thing that becomes important to understand when discussing this, okay? Everybody will sit there and argue over when does the baby become a nefesh? Nefesh really is a strong word. When does a baby become a person in and of itself?
Like to be counted, basically. Like not
to be counted, okay?
30 days, right? At the end of a month.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't, from a Jewish perspective, the issue isn't the baby. Once you take the understanding that the mother's life takes precedence,
okay,
the issue of is it a baby? Is it a fetus? Okay, is it nefesh? Is it not nefesh? It doesn't matter. What does matter? If the terminology in the passage we just read from Exodus 21 says that life for life, hand for hand, foot for foot, stripe for stripe, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, refers to the mother, it's not asking, it's not presenting the issue of anything to do with the baby.
Okay.
The issue is one and only one thing, and that is from the mother's perspective. Now, okay, let's talk about the mother's perspective. And please remember what I'm saying about an enormous amount of gray area.
Okay.
Judaism can't say it's always right, and Judaism cannot say it's always wrong. And Judaism cannot say they're pro-life, and Judaism cannot say they're pro-choice. Because each of those movements has values in that movement that contradict Judaism's values. We'll talk about that later, okay? It is so nuanced. It's so that you have to take each individual case by itself, and the easy way out, abortion is always wrong, abortion is always right, is not Judaism's way and never has been. Okay. Anytime the issue comes up, remember I sent you an email an email. I sent you an email. Would you please put it up?
Okay, 1 second. Let me open it up real fast. All right, Gmail. One moment here. There it is. Okay, I'm going to drag it over the top of your screen. So that way we can just do it. Actually, let me put you full screen first. Here and there, and let me make this bigger. All right. Well, can you read it that way or no?
It's way too small.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
It needs to be visible for everybody.
Okay.
Even if you copy paste it, and then you can play with the borders and how large it is.
This will be better, actually. I think this will work. Let me just zoom in on this one here. Hang on 1 second.
Oh, okay.
It's already as big as I can get it. I think. What's going on here? Screen capture. Wrong one. What the heck? Oh, I got 2 screen captures here. All right, blowing it up now and scooting it over, and I'll just have to scroll down it, I reckon. Hang on. Okay, that should be... That's better right there. Now I'll just have to scroll down when you're ready.
Okay, thank you. This is a statement by the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America. Who is the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America? They are sometimes called OU, Orthodox Union, and they are the ones who are responsible, just to show you who they are, to put the hechsher, the Jewish seal of approval, that a product or a business is operating under the laws of keeping kosher. That a product is truly kosher, or that, let's say, a restaurant is a kosher restaurant. They're the ones who put the OU symbol on the package that says, yes, in fact, we certify that this is, in fact, a kosher item.
Okay.
Okay? For the Orthodox. Okay? One might say the modern Orthodox. Okay, fine. Here is the statement. In the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court issuing its ruling in Dobbs versus Jackson, which is what they just were talking about, we reiterate the approach we articulated when a draft ruling in this case was leaked to the media last month. The Orthodox Union is unable to either mourn or celebrate the U.S. Supreme Court's overturning of Roe versus Wade. Listen carefully. We cannot support absolute bans on abortion at any time point in a pregnancy that would not allow access to abortion in life-saving situations. Please let that sink in. We cannot support. Okay, let me do this.
It's already up now. You should be able to see it. So similarly, we cannot support legislation
that does not limit abortion to situations in which medical, including mental health, not just saving her physical life, but her mental life as well. Professionals affirm that carrying the pregnancy to term poses real risk to the life of the mother. We're going to get back to this. As people of faith, we see life as a precious gift granted to us and maintained within us by God. Jewish law places paramount value on choosing life and mandates not as a right, but as a responsibility, safeguarding our own lives and the lives of others by behaving in a healthy and secure manner, doing everything in our power to save lives, and refraining from endangering others. This concern for even potential life extends to the unborn fetus and to the terminally ill. Next paragraph. And listen carefully. The right to choose as well as the right to die are thus completely at odds with our religious and halachic values. Legislation and court rulings that enshrine such rights concern us deeply on a societal level, you think? Yet that same mandate to preserve life requires us to be concerned for the life of the mother. Jewish law prioritizes the life of the pregnant mother over the life of the fetus, such that where the pregnancy critically endangers the physical health or mental health of the mother, an abortion may be authorized, if not mandated, by halakha and should be available to all women, irrespective of their economic status. Legislation and court rulings, federally or in any state, that absolutely ban abortion without regard for the health of the mother would literally limit our ability to live our lives in accordance with our responsibility to preserve life of the mother. It's talking about the mother in this whole paragraph. Okay? What is this saying? It's saying that because the life of the mother is paramount, then there are in fact times when the life of the mother taking precedence over the life of the baby, we do an abortion. That's what it's saying. So when Florida, for example, says after 15 weeks, we don't care what the reason is, you're not allowed to do an abortion, Judaism's going to have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. Okay? When the state of Texas, in which we live, okay, says basically the same thing, and both, if I remember correctly about Texas, but I know that in the Florida rule, it says it doesn't matter how she became pregnant. It doesn't matter if it's rape. It doesn't matter if it's incest. It doesn't matter. At the end of 15 weeks, she is no longer allowed to get an abortion for any reason. Okay? I think they do allow if there's a problem with the baby, but that I don't remember. The extreme polarization around and politicization of the abortion issue does not...
I thought you were done. You just totally skipped over it.
Yeah. No, I came back to it.
Okay. The extreme polarization around the politicization of abortion issues does not bode well for a much-needed nuanced result. Human life, the value of everyone created in the divine image, is far too important.
Thank you. Is there anything that comes after that? I don't think so.
That's it.
Okay. What is this saying? It is saying that because Judaism believes, yes, there are in fact times where an abortion is warranted. It's right. It's the thing you should do. A woman comes to me and says, Rabbi, I've been told by my doctors, every one of them, that if I have this baby, I'm going to die on the table. But I love my baby, and I want you to take the baby and let me die. I'm sorry. Not only can I not do that, but as somebody who believes in halakha, as someone who believes that the mother's life takes precedence, Jewish law, even though it would never happen in civil law in the real world, the woman can be forced to have an abortion. She does not have the right to commit suicide by birthing. Did you hear what I called it?
Birthing.
Suicide by giving birth.
Right.
So there are even times, which is what the letter from the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America read. There are times where it's mandated to have an abortion, not just allowed, but mandated. Here's where we got problems. Okay, here's where we have problems. And listen carefully. The vast majority of abortions taking place in the country today is not according to Jewish law.
Right, agreed.
Okay, I don't care if you agree or not. I don't care if the people chatting agree with me or not. I'm telling you what it is. Okay, argue with yourselves along your own. I don't care. Jewish law is rather clear on this issue. Okay, if the woman's health, which health? Physical health, mental health. Mental health can be subdivided into different parts, like spiritual health, okay, and emotional health. Mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual health. William, using you as a guinea pig, I apologize. If I come to attack you and your physical health, do you have the right to defend yourself?
Of course.
If I come to attack you on your spiritual health, do you have the right to defend yourself?
Yeah, of course.
If I come to attack you on your mental health, do you have the right to defend yourself?
Yep.
What am I missing? Mental health, mental, physically, emotional. If did I hit them all four?
You had three.
Okay. Well, whatever I missed. The point is,
sense.
if I am attacking you, you have the right to self-defense.
Okay.
Okay. This is the issue. Unfortunately, the vast majority, and I'm not saying all, and I'm not going to give a percentage, and I'm not going to say it's 62.3% or something stupid, okay? But the truth of the matter is, we know that most abortions taking place in this country is after the fact birth control. And that is not going to be called moral or ethical by Jewish law. And unfortunately, the majority of abortions taking place in this country could possibly fall under after the fact birth control.
Okay.
Judaism has to be allowed to operate within its own religious convictions. There are states now that don't allow that because their present law is based purely on a Christian understanding of these issues, which does not allow the Jew to say, here's what halakha says and I'm going to follow it. But Judaism clearly believes,
Pardon me.
Judaism clearly believes that abortion is allowed under certain circumstances. What are those circumstances? They involve the mother, not the baby or the fetus, not how she got pregnant, but how the mother responds to it. I'll explain that in a minute. Okay. And because there are times where abortion is sad, but nevertheless the right thing to do, we cannot have laws that outlaw it at any point and say anytime after no reason is allowed to abort. So it's a very gray area, and it depends on the woman and how she responds to the pregnancy. Does she, in fact, see it as an attack on her mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical health? If she really deems it that way, then she can have the abortion. If she says, well, and by the way, I don't believe many women do this. Oh, well, I'm having a good time, and, I'd be okay to have a baby, but it's just not convenient. I'm sorry, as a rabbi, I would say Judaism does not allow the abortion. If a woman comes to me and says, same woman comes to me and says, Rabbi, I'm being pulled in 100 different directions and I can't take it anymore. And if I have this baby and I have more responsibilities piled onto me, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I can't. In that instance, same woman, different response. I'm going to say, go ahead and have the abortion. Do you understand the difference here? Do you understand that the issue is the baby? I can't remember the fancy politically correct term now. Okay. Is the baby disabled? It doesn't matter. Okay. There are women who will say, yes, I know I'm going to give birth to a disabled baby, but I can love that baby and I will raise that baby and it's fine. And there are women who will say, I can't take it. I won't be able to support it. I can't. This first case, abortion would not be right. In the second case, abortion would be. And I'm really reducing this to simplistic stupidity, and I understand that, but I'm trying to get you to understand the nuances here. Every single case must be taken on its own. Every single case must be analyzed from three perspectives: the woman, her doctor, her rabbi. Rabbi supplying the Jewish issues that are involved. If the doctor says your mental health and your physical health are in deep jeopardy, okay, I sincerely doubt there's any rabbi who would say you can't have the abortion, because the authority of the doctor who knows the patient, okay, it's the woman, her doctor, and let's say the halakha in her specific case. I'm reducing this to some simple terms. It's almost a joke, but I'm trying to get you to understand the issues here. Okay, Judaism does allow abortion in certain circumstances, requires it in certain circumstances, and if a state or nation has a law that says, after 5 days of being pregnant, you can't have, there's a problem. And by the way, and you're not going to like this, I know you're not. If a woman is told in her 9th month that if she gives birth, she'll die, the rabbinic text explicitly says you can cut up the baby in the womb to save the life of the mother, because the life of the mother takes precedence. How often does that happen? Come on, in the modern world, 21st century, 5782, okay? I sincerely doubt it happens very often. What they call late-term abortion is less, I think, than 1% of all the abortions that take place in this country. Okay, look up the statistic. I don't know what it is, but it's incredibly low. So most of what people discuss in this issue are hypotheticals, rare hypotheticals. And then they use the rare hypothetical as a way to back their side. And Judaism understands that there are times when abortion is the right thing to do, and under certain circumstances will allow it, making every state responsible to not just respect the Christian ideology behind these, but to allow the Jew to follow the halakha. Now, how many people do you think have ever come to me and said, "Rabbi, can I have an abortion? Here are my circumstances"? Never. Okay? And there's plenty of literature out there, like I showed everybody with the letter from the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America, the OU. Okay? They can find out on their own. They're not going to necessarily come to me as a rabbi and say, basically, give me permission to do this. Not going to happen. But Judaism believes in an enormous amount of gray area, and each case, therefore, has to be taken on its own. What did I mean earlier tonight when I said that Judaism will not allow a person to be pro-choice, and Judaism cannot allow a person to be pro-life? It's wonderful how they word things. Pro-life, okay? Pro-life or pro-birth? Is the number of children who are looking to be adopted going to rise explicitly because of the Supreme Court leaving it up to the states and the states making it illegal to have an abortion? Yeah, I think the number of available children to adopt will go up. Will the number of people adopting children go up, especially those who say, "Yay"? Good question. I have my doubts. Okay? Easy to defend the unborn because you don't have to think about it. Once you protested and patted yourself on the back and said, "I'm a good person because I defend the defenseless," okay, how wonderful. But because Judaism doesn't say it's always right, because Judaism doesn't say it's always wrong, and Judaism takes this middle of the road approach that each case has to be taken on its own values or lack thereof, okay, it puts Judaism in a very weird light. And when I said on my radio show, because we were yelling at each other last night with the priest and minister, that, you know, everything I basically said, when I said about the cut up the baby in the womb, okay, everybody in the station was appalled that I said that. But the life of the mother takes precedence over the life of the baby. Doesn't matter if you call it a fetus or a baby, still the same entity, okay? And they see this little picture and defenseless little baby and whatever, but the life of the mother takes precedence in order to save the life of the mother. So when does it become equal? Okay? And God breathed a soul into Adam and Eve. Okay? When they can take their first breath of air, when the baby's head comes out. Once the baby's head comes out, they are equal, and you can't take the mother over the baby. You can't take the baby over the mother. All you can do is just help them both to survive. Is that a hint that I should stop talking?
No, I'm just...
Oh, okay, all right.
No.
All right. Judaism, I believe, is a very practical, practicable religion that doesn't make everything easy and simple, always right, always wrong, but requires us to take a look at the individual cases, explicitly the individual mother, to see how she herself is responding to her own pregnancy. Okay? Women can be raped, and it will, every time I look at the baby, I'm going to think of my rape every night. I can't take it. And other women will say, yes, I know how the baby came into being. I was there, okay? But I will love that baby, but it's just not convenient, and maybe two different attitudes, two different approaches. One would be considered okay to have the abortion, one would not. How does the mother respond to the pregnancy? Is it an attack on her mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual well-being? If it's deemed to be an attack on her mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical well-being, have the abortion. If it's merely, and I'm not saying in any given case which is which, okay, then it would not be considered a moral or ethical thing to do. But since I don't have a line of people asking Stuart Federow what they should do in their instance, who else is there who's going to make the choice but the mother? And not everybody who's Jewish follows or even cares about what Jewish law says in this instance. Which I find even a greater sadness, but whatever. Okay.
All right. Well, I don't know how I feel about mixing topics on this particular one. We should leave this one alone. So
well,
if you've got more...
Just before we go, can I take a look at the comments, the chat?
Yeah, for sure. If you guys have any specific chats you want us to identify, tag at Stuart Federow or at Tanakh Talk.
Yep.
And that way we can spot them really easily.
The mom comes first, Andrew. Exactly. Okay. Divorce is not forbidden. Are you kidding me? Pick up your Bible and read it. A child is so precious, the thought of it makes me cry a lot. Yes, Rachel, I agree. It's a sad instance.
Divorce isn't forbidden.
No, it's not. How could it be forbidden when it explicitly says how to?
I was clarifying something that you said. I think you said something wrong. You said divorce is not forbidden. Are you kidding me? That's not what you meant. You meant what we just clarified it to mean. Okay, got it.
William, it is such a hassling topic.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to convince anybody else, and everybody's going to say the same things. I'm being nice here. They'll say the same stupid things. Okay. I'm not going to convince anybody else. Nobody else is going to convince me. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
The last comment you can comment on 7:47 p.m. about ultra testosterone.
Wait. 7 what?
7:47.
Okay, wait. 7:30. Wait. 7. I keep scrolling. Oh, here we go. 40.
7:47 by Ultra.
Wait a
Divorce
minute.
is.
Wait. 7:45. Ultra. Divorce is forbidden in most instances. There is no concept of no-fault divorce. No. We're talking Judaism here. I'm not sure what religion you're talking about.
Right.
Okay. All right. Let me go back up.
So, Ultra, you're talking about legal authority. Judaism doesn't base on what the state laws say, and that the halakha is halakha. I mean, and everybody knows that the state laws don't comply with halakha anyway. So that's not what we're talking about here.
And by the way, excuse me, but I'm a citizen of the United States too, and my rights are protected in the Constitution of the United States. And if they take Christian law over Jewish law, that is a violation of the separation of church and state, and they have stepped on my constitutional rights.
Yeah. Because
they're choosing one religion, literally choosing one religion and its values over my religion and my values.
Right.
And that I have been saying that the whole abortion has been an issue of the separation of church and state for decades. For decades. But of course, nobody listens to Stuart Federow anyway, so who cares? Okay, let's see.
Pardon me.
Robert, what is the punishment for the miscarriage? It's up to the courts to decide. And you may have seen from the Rashis Commentary that it's monetary. It's like a lawsuit. Okay, if I sue somebody, it doesn't mean they get thrown into a fire. It means they pay me for what happened. Yeah, right. See, Joel, thank you. Financial restitution like for assaults and injuries. Exactly. Okay. Right. See, man, bear, pig, you and a lot of other people here are not going to like what I'm about to say. Whatever. Okay, but Orthodox law will say that abortion for non-Jews is a crime and punishable by death, but abortion for Jews, that's okay. Under the circumstances I said. They will distinguish. So, whatever. Not 40 weeks. It's 40 days. The
Rabbi, clarify the question.
Is considered nothing but water.
Rabbi, you state the question first, or comment. You just commented on a comment that no one knows what you're looking at.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're talking. This is about 7:19 on the timestamp.
Just read off the statement if you don't mind.
Okay, T. Bishop, Oklahoma is the strictest abortion law and does not prohibit when mother is in danger. Okay, does not, I hate double negatives. Doesn't prohibit, it doesn't stop the abortion when the mother is in danger. Yeah, go take a look at Florida's law and how they state it, okay? The mother's life may be okay, but rape is ignored, incest is ignored. There are a lot of things they're ignoring that Judaism would say, wait a minute. Okay. So they're talking about basically when is it life? Ultra testosterone says 8 to 10 weeks. Robert Cummings, I think he's Muslim, says, I think the Quran says 40 weeks. Judaism says when it takes a breath of air, it becomes an independent entity from the mother. Until then, it's like, a part of the mother, which it is.
That makes sense.
Mother dies, baby dies. Baby dies could cause real problems for the mother if they don't act. In some way, sometimes the way they act is to force her to give birth, even though the baby is not alive anymore. But Judaism says that up until the 40th day, not week, the fetus is basically nothing but water, which of course now we have X-ray and ultrasound, and we know better. but that's still Jewish law.
Right.
Right. Yeah, let's see. Excuse me, Robert Harrison. It does not say thou shalt not kill. If that were the case, you couldn't kill an ant taking over your homes or mosquitoes in your backyard when you're picnicking. It says thou shalt not murder. And according to what we just talked about, Judaism does not consider the life of the baby to be murder. It only uses the word life for life in regard to the mother. And that's why Judaism says that the mother's life takes precedence over the life of the baby. And there we go. There's a distinction between before 40 days from conception, roughly 8 weeks, the way we reckon pregnancy today, and afterwards, but that's not when life begins, right? Okay. Yes, Razel, again, it's a very depressing topic. It's why I really hate talking about it, because it's so incredibly divisive. It's like instead of the northern states fighting over slavery against the southern states, you're going to have next door states next door to each other, arguing with each other over the abortion issue. And instead of an underground railroad, okay, getting blacks to freedom, you're going to have an underground railroad taking women to another state where they can get an abortion. And then what happens? Then you're going to have bombing buses with women on their way to an abortion clinic in a different state from the state in which they live. Okay. Yes, T. Bishop, I knew you when you were in the womb. So that means because David in a psalm says that about himself. Well, David also in a Psalm 22, I believe, says in a psalm about himself that I am a what's he call himself? I am a worm. Thank you. Psalm 22. It's I am a worm. Well, does that mean every human being on earth is not really a human being? They're a worm? If when he writes, I knew you when I was in the womb, works for every human being, then why doesn't I am a worm? You're not a person. You're a worm. Please. Okay. Man, bear, pig, you on mode 69B. It might be. I don't remember sources that well. Okay. I even had to write down Exodus 21:22 to remember to tell William. Okay. Let's see. Gray areas for sure, especially on late term. Heartbreaking, severe birth defects. Depends on how the mother's going to respond to the birth defects. What about how in the womb Jacob and Esau fighting, the Bible acknowledging the infant? What about it? It's not the issue. The issue isn't the baby. The issue is the mother's response to the pregnancy. Everybody goes back to the same stuff. Okay, well, in the womb. Okay, so God knows the woman whom he made pregnant, because we assume God controls things, but God's too stupid to know that the baby was put into the womb of a woman who will abort it. So if the woman chooses to abort it, then wouldn't that be God's will, because God knew the woman? Come on, how long do you want to do this? Yeah, oh, please. T. Bishop, we were making other efforts to be a light to the nations. Since everybody hates me now anyway, this is why I think light to the nations means we're supposed to be missionaries and convert the world to Judaism. But that's just me. Okay, no, it's not just me. There are plenty of people out there who believe we should be missionizing again like we used to. The 96th Psalm, which we sing every Friday night. How can you read that and not understand that we Jews are supposed to be missionaries for God, for monotheism, for Judaism? Okay. Constellation Pegasus, I couldn't agree with you more, by the way, on William's behalf. Thank you for your donation. People are brainwashed by their political ideology, and it's stronger than their religious conviction. Could not agree more. That's why this is a moot point, and conversations and discussions aren't going to change anybody's mind. Duke, and I never said it pertained to abortion. What it says is, how do we view a woman's life as opposed to the baby's life? And it's from that we apply that to the issues of abortion and other things too, by the way. Exactly. Thank you, Andrea. Intentional abortion is not a Torah thing. If the pregnancy endangers the mother's life, it's acceptable. Mother is a living being, and her life has to be protected. Right, Wally. That's what I said. Some Jewish writings say not alive until it breathes air outside the womb. When did God put the soul into Adam? When he breathed into it. When God breathed the soul into Adam. Okay, but that's why this is so nuanced and so complicated, because there are rabbinic passages that say that life begins at conception. Life begins at conception. Come on, you're going to tell me the baby, the fetus, isn't alive? Of course it's alive. But it's not considered nephesh till it breathes, because that's when nephesh gets breathed into Adam, when it breathes through the breath. Okay. Yeah, that's my point, Joel. It doesn't say that this is 725. A verse in Isaiah implies God knowing the prophet even before conception. That can hardly be proof of life beginning then. Just. Or Jeremiah, whatever, yeah. Thank you, Andrea. Oh, Man Bear Pit. That was my understanding. The fetus has rights, but less than a person. The mother's life is more important. Exactly, that's what I've been saying. Okay. Again, you're right, Joel. Yep. Anthony, that's the point. There's a lot of gray. There's wiggle room in the mental health clause. Yes, exactly. There's a lot of gray. Each case has to be taken on its own, and there's going to be wiggle room or nuances or whatever you want to call it. And that's why Judaism will not make a blanket statement, as reflected in the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America's statement that we're not 100% against, we're not 100% for. Each case has to be taken on its own. We already talked about that one. Okay, let's see. By the way, abortion is a lot less common. There used to be 1.5 million abortions taking place in this country per year. Now I think it's down to like 600,000. Okay, less than half. That means we're making inroads on contraception, on not becoming pregnant in the first place, although, of course, and obviously, contraception can fail. Most people only use one form, and then they're surprised when it fails, and instead of using 2 forms. Whatever. All right. Let's see. 15 weeks would be 4 months. By that time, the vast majority of abortions have already taken place by actually 16, 17, 18 weeks. I forgot the number, but whatever. Boaz, yes, that's exactly right. When Sarah was pregnant with Isaac, she could have aborted Isaac because of her old age, putting her life at risk. But she didn't. It's up to her. She chose. Yes, T. Bishop, I love this verse, 2 Chronicles. If my people this is 7:31 p.m., 7:31 p.m. by T. Bishop. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and will heal their land. Absolutely. Notice that the quotation you give us doesn't say anything about the necessity of a blood sacrifice for the forgiveness of sin. And all it says is humble yourself, pray for forgiveness, stop doing the bad, start doing the good, and God forgives. Thank you for that. Okay. Yes, T. Bishop, we have to find a solution so that young women do not get to this place. How about not having sex until you're married, okay, in a long-term, loving, committed relationship, okay? How about promoting the proper use of contraception, the proper use of proper contraception, so women don't get pregnant in the first place? Okay. Oh, we can't have contraception because we're in love and we just got carried away.
Okay, well, Rabbi, let's wrap this up. It is, because the comments could be coming in all night long, and let's go ahead and just tie this one up if you don't mind. So, appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Thank you for your comments and your shared insight as well. So we'll look forward, Rabbi, to see you.
Yeah, everybody's going to be mad because they're not hearing only what they want in what I've been saying.
You'd be surprised. Spooky, thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, you guys have a wonderful evening, and we will see you on the other side of Shem willing.
Yeah, let the hate begin.
See you guys later. Bye. Peace out, everybody.
Safe.